Welcome. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many colleagues, and former students, co-workers, and all of you I am happy to call friends, or at least most of you. Maybe not Rich. Now, I would really like to express my thanks to each of you for being willing to join us today, for braving the flu and coming to celebrate the 40th anniversary, give or take a couple of years, of the Hartford Institute for Religion Research and the Center for Social and Religious Research. It's hard to believe that I'm welcoming you. I still sort of feel like the youngster at the Institute, but then when I look around and I see my colleague Allison Norton at the age that I was when I first came here as a postdoc, or I see our current postdocs who are younger than my own kids, I guess I'm not so young after all. And then I look to my old bosses and realize that, well, okay, but I'm not the oldest here. But this celebration isn't about the fact that I'm not dead yet, but rather that the center and the institute has been in existence for 40 years and continues to be going strong. These 40 robust and productive years are a collective accomplishment of many people in this room and others who are not present. We fondly remember Carl Dudley and our friends like Lauren Mead and Jay Demarack and Larry Mamiya and Dean Hoagie, and others who have gone before us. Likewise, Adair Loomis and Mary Jane Ross are in our thoughts, plus our colleagues who are unable to be here, including Jim Neiman, Cynthia Woolliver, Penny Marler, Dan Olson, and others. We also need to keep in our prayers Jack and Ann Carroll. Ann, who's in North Carolina with her daughter, while Jack and her other daughter were here. Ann suffered a stroke last night, and so Jack had to fly back this morning. So please keep them in your prayers and your thoughts. Likewise, we've had a good many folks who had intended to be here email me and say that they had suffered the flu or some other recent ailments. So, as humans, we suffer our sorrows intermixed with our joys and celebrations. And God is with us through all of those. So we're here and we celebrate both our presence together and also those who can't be with us. And you'll see the PowerPoint that we have throughout the day running. I tried to capture a slice of the more joyful and collective expression of the Institute, and also in the display in the hallway. That those will be here for today, showing you sort of physically what this Institute means. Certainly this is a celebration of the Institute's products, the artifacts that have been produced, so many research projects, dozens of books, over $17 million in grants, roughly 6.5 million visitors to our website, and how many folks who have read our material or seen our research quoted in many thousands of news stories. But the Institute is also the accounts and the stories that enliven our work. If Carl were here, we would have created a timeline. We would all had to participate. We would have gossiped and joked and told kitchen stories, like we'll probably do at lunch, that enliven our serious research that has been done at the Institute. These stories brought life to the data and made the learnings more powerful and influential throughout the nation and the world. However, it's most of all the activities, the relationships, the network ties, and the interpersonal engagements with churches and religious leaders that make the Institute what it is. Many of us in this room have been profoundly changed and deeply enriched by the collective work of the Institute. Truly, the culture that is developed at A.E. Sherman is about much more than 40 years of being a research institute. The interfaith friendships with fact, the camaraderie of nerds, the extensive networks of nerds, the New England Religion Discussion Society. The extensive network ties with denominational leaders, with academic colleagues, with clergy, with press, with students, consultants, and lay people all attest to the power of the culture of Hartford Institute, not just its research. A power that is far greater than the research products that we produce. In the weeks leading up to this event, many friends of the Institute emailed me and expressed their gratitude for our collective work and for this culture of collaboration and connection that has been cultivated. Bob Lynn's daughter overflowed with kind thoughts about how much her father appreciated the Institute. That it even brought a tear to her eye when she started talking about his relationship to this place. Mike Ryan, former president of the school, wished that he could celebrate with us, but he was unable to attend. Countless former Doctor of Ministry students, Congregational Studies Institute participants, FACT members, and other colleagues wrote me expressing their appreciation. I posted today on my Facebook page some pictures and the announcement, and already there was like 40 different comments of people, our colleagues who would fill this room, saying just how truly thankful they were for our work and for our collaboration with them. Truly, it is a great cloud of witnesses testifying to the influence and the impact of our collective and collaborative work together. In many ways, today is a celebration of our 40-plus years of research efforts, but it's also a commemoration that the Institute is much more than just the product. It is about who we are collectively, our influence, our relationships, and the passion with which all of those who have been a part of this organization have for religious organizations and the betterment of faith communities. Indeed, it is the spirit that is worth celebrating and continuing for another 40 years. So today, celebrate with me. But first, some logistics. You may have seen the Christmas toys. The Christmas toys are MT's creation, MT Winter, and has been going on for maybe 40 years as well. We gather those toys and distribute them to all sorts of needy groups and families. And if you want to contribute, I'm sure MT would be happy to take some money from you. Not only that, you will find refreshments behind us, behind that wall. You'll also, we have snacks there right now, but you'll also find food there later. Restrooms, in case you're interested, are down this hall and then also upstairs in the same location. There will probably be folks dropping in, coming and going, and likewise, if you need to take a break, just feel free to wander in and out as need be. We've also scheduled in the day plenty of time for lunch and for interacting, and hopefully maybe some Q&A. And if you don't have dinner plans, please consider attending the dinner we're having this evening, beginning at 6. So see Susan Schoenhauer if you're interested in attending to that. Before we begin the panels and the conversation today, I want to invite up Dina Grant, who is our interim dean, to also welcome you to the school.
Thank you, Scott. Greetings. I'd like to welcome you all today to this symposium marking this milestone in the history of the Hartford Institute for Religion Research. For so many years, religious institutions have grappled with the urgent question, how do we change the surrounding culture? In our more recent era, the question is now becoming flipped. The pressing question now is, how do we change our religious institutions to adapt to our rapidly shifting culture? In order to answer this question, we need to know how our culture is changing. More specifically, we need to know how are people relating to their religious communities, and how are religious communities relating to the religious institutions and their religious leaders. A key finding is that religious communities, to survive in an impactful way, need to be willing to change. As Dave Ruzin quoted saying on this, "Hope thrives where change is welcome." Religious communities also need to know how to change. And that requires research. Research that the HIRR has been conducting for around 40 years, with, for example, the Faith Communities Today surveys and reports, which has sought to understand what's happening in American congregations by studying thousands of churches, synagogues, parishes, temples, and mosques for over 2 decades. And most recently with the EPIC project, exploring the pandemic impact on congregations, a multi-year investigation of how COVID-19 may have changed and may continue to change congregational life across Christian denominations in America. Importantly, HIRR, which had been the Center for Social and Religious Research situated within Hartford Seminary, and is now Hartford Institute for Religion Research situated in Hartford International University, has never engaged in research as mere recreation for those residing in the Ivory Tower. Rather, the Institute conducts research as service. HIRR's findings are taught in our classrooms and more broadly in workshops and retreats. They are reported on in places like the New York Times and Wall Street Journal and countless other places. And the opinions of HIRR professors are sought out by seminaries, religious agencies, and churches. Something that strikes me about the vast output of the Hartford Institute is that while on its surface, HIRR is studying American religious congregations, it is really a study of the broader landscape of communities of human beings seeking God. As one participant of FACTS has described, there's something unique about what happens in congregations. Not only are we studying what happens in congregations, we're showing that what happens in congregations isn't unique across different religions. Congregational leaders of whichever ilk, whether Jewish, Christian, Baha'i, Muslim, struggle to meet the needs of their local communities, to pass on faith to the next generation, and to foster congregations' vitality, however one might define vitality. Religious leaders want their congregations to thrive. HIRR offers a guidebook. In 2019, right before the world stopped short, HIU decided as an institution to look inward, to assess who we are and who we aspire to become. The shared future vision that emerged from this multi-year process is as follows, and I'm going to read it. By 2025, Hartford International University will be the nation's leading resource for interreligious education, research, and peace studies, providing cutting-edge research and immersive learning opportunities that enable leaders and institutions to thrive in a religiously complex world. Looking at what HIRR has accomplished over the past 40 years-ish, and what it is continuing to do, I'd like to suggest that it has been ahead of the curve on this. HIRR is and has been for some time the nation's leading resource providing cutting-edge, applied research that enables congregational leaders and institutions to thrive in our religiously complex world. In some sense, the rest of us here at HIU are just catching up. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to the day.
We're actually ahead. That will not last long. I believe we may as well get started, and then Dave has some more time. So we'll go ahead and start our first panel. So if Nancy and Bill